All right, this second video for today is going to help you on your worksheet. So I'm going to give you a little bit of help on each of the three sections, and then you're just going to do your best after that. And if you need to, you can ask the substitute for help. So in this first section, we are going to name the dependent and independent variable in each problem. Number 1 says a food service worker earns $12 per hour. How much money, M, does the worker earn on a shift of 8 hours? So our two variables are money and hours. Okay, so just like we talked about in the video, our dependent variable depends on the independent variable. So you ask yourself, which one depends on the other? Well, how much money you get depends on how many hours you work. So money is our dependent because it depends on how many hours you work. And then the independent is hours because it controls how much money you get. So the more hours you work, then you get more money. Hours has to happen first. You have to work first before you get the money. All right, so that's the same thing you're going to do on number 2. Your two variables are the large pizza and the medium pizza. All right, so you're going to think about which one do you need to know first, or which one depends on the other, okay? For the second section, we have the table shows the electric current produced by a solar cell in different amounts of sunlight, and you're going to answer the questions using the data. So what this is talking about is there's sunlight, okay, and it is shining onto basically a solar panel. All right, and that solar panel then produces a current of electricity, okay? So if you notice here, if our light intensity, so if our sunlight is 150, then we have a current of 15, okay? As we increase our light intensity, you'll see our current also increases, which makes sense. More sunlight means more current, okay? So first thing we have to name is the dependent and the independent variable. Well, you need to think about which one depends on the other. So does that solar panel tell the sunlight how much light to shine? Probably not. All right, so your sun, the sunlight, or the light intensity, is your dependent variable. Okay, that sun is going to shine whether we tell it to or not. That's independent, and then the amount of sunlight that is given will control the amount of current. So your current is your dependent variable because it depends on the light intensity. All right, number 5, what do you predict the current will be in the absence of sunlight? So think about if there is no sun, what will the current be? And make sure you explain your answer. All right, and lastly, predict what the current will be if the light intensity is 1050. Okay, so if this was 1050, what would the current be? Okay, so this is where you need to find your pattern. Think about what do we do to the light intensity to get the current? What is our pattern? And do that same thing for 1050. All right, and explain that you either multiply or divide or whatever to get the current. All right, the last section we have a race car driver's time in seconds to complete 12 laps is plotted on the graph. So the x-axis is your laps, see that, laps, and your y-axis is time. So after they completed 1 lap, then the time was recorded, and then 2 laps, 3 laps, 4 laps, and so on and so forth. Okay? First question, which axis shows the dependent variable? That's in your notes. The dependent variable is always this, and it's either x or y, okay? And then why does the graph begin at x equals 1? Why did they start the time here at 1 lap? Okay, so explain why you think it starts at 1 and not somewhere else. When you finish this, turn it in, and then you can get on Think Through Math or Prodigy.